our second question comes from John. John, you are now unmuted.
Thank you for taking the question. I'm John Hilliard with the Boston Globe, and given the scope of cuts that have occurred at the U.S. Department of Education, I was wondering, does this suit do anything to restore any of those cuts? Because the dramatic reduction in workforce for that agency, or is there anything that that states can do legally to compel the government to rehire these folks?
This is Ann. The relief that we're seeking is to ensure that those employees who have already been RIFed as part of the reduction in force are returned to their jobs, and that the money that has already been appropriated by Congress for all of the programs that exist today continue to flow.
And I'll just add, in many ways, we're getting ahead of what may come. Right now, what we know to be true is that you have a president and an education secretary where their goal is to dismantle this agency in its entirety. So number one, we are pointing out to this court and to the public that they do not have the authority to dismantle an education agency or any agency that was created by Congress. It's unlawful. Second, that the functions of this agency, including those who were recently suspended or let go, they have critical functions that they serve, including, for example, here in Boston in our civil rights division of the Department of Education that was shut down, critical roles that they play. And the disruption of that work and that flow of work is having a major impact on the Commonwealth, on our students, our school districts, and our families. And any potential funding threats that could come as they work to dismantle this agency as a whole will also have a devastating impact on our colleges, universities, students in K through 12 and beyond, and so many other programs that these states rely on to be able to deliver education and a high quality education to our constituents.
Let me say that this lawsuit basically seeks to maintain the status quo, that the actions by the Trump administration basically exceed his authority, that this is a democracy, not a unitarian type of government, that it's arbitrary, that it's capricious, and that as was mentioned by A.G. Campbell and others, that this agency was created by Congress, and that the President of the United States cannot simply, by signing with a Sharpie, basically ignore the powers of Congress. He's trespassed on their powers, and all that we are doing is enforcing the law, which is enshrined in the Constitution and the rule of law all across this nation. And we would urge him to respect it. We have, in all of our cases thus far, we've been winning. And we're confident that we will seek a TRO and ultimately a preliminary injunction, and that our students and our schools will continue to operate on behalf of the American public.
And I'll just add in response to the question, the prayer of relief at the end of our complaint sets forth the relief that we're seeking, and it includes stopping, we call it enjoining, any additional actions that carry out the order to dismantle the Department of Education. And it also asks for a declaration of unlawfulness or invalidity of the actions taken so far. So they would be invalid, they would be reversed. So there's a reversal component and a blockage of additional action consistent with the executive order. And as A.G. James mentioned, it would bring us back to the status quo before the order was ever issued.